28. Well, Kongo looking very capable indeed. Has the height advantage, goes for the shoot early on, Yvel. Hasn't quite pulled it off, but the night is young.
Managing to stand back up. Kongo looking for the neck crank there. He's going for the guillotine. Yvel's trying to counter with the same thing. That's more like it. Stand-up action. That's what I like to see. Slamming the knees in. It's a delicate balance between being taken to the ground and having enough room to actually strike as soon as you're in the clinch.
Well, Kongo, with that height advantage, really should have had more success taking Yvel down, but he simply can't keep him on the ground, can he? And so it's a testimony to Gilbert Yvel's skill and power, and it's Yvel this time that puts Kongo to the ground. He's inside the guard, goes for the full mount.
And he's coming up on top. Yvel is pulling Kongo down. And the arm, is the arm out? Is he going for the arm bar?
Well, the crowd going wild here because it's going from one position to the other, one technique to the other. What great, great groundwork this is.
Yes, they're flowing from technique to technique, but they're not worried about the controls as much. They're looking for the actual technique. They're normally what have happened with a fighter is he'll gain control and then work in a technique. Here, they're not worried so much about the control. They're just going straight for the action.
This is full fat, four-wheel drive. So, really, at this stage, it's Yvel now.
He's going for the heel hook. If he gets this on, it could all be over. Both of their legs are out. Do they have enough room to work the heel hook in? It's a stalemate. How can Kongo hold this off? The heel hook. Look at his foot position. It's being bent right round. Yvel looking like, what's happening? That's some flexibility in the feet.
Well, this looks like it's going to be really exciting. Knee strike from Yvel.
To stop the knees coming up, you need to push your hips forward. But if you push your hips forward, you lose your stability in your sprawl and you risk being taken down.
Well, Kongo goes for a lock, slipped out by Yvel. Yvel, once he gets a grip round the midsection, he's making it very, very difficult for Kongo to use that height advantage for leverage.
Referee again calling break, keeping the action flowing. Lovely kick from Yvel. Oh, and the response. Yvel firing up.
Well, Gary, you're going to have to talk me through this, because it looks like both men have got a little bit of everything going on here.
Yeah, it's just a big knot, isn't it? They're both flowing from one technique to another. They're trying to put a lock, they're trying to put pressure on the elbow joint, they're trying to put pressure on the leg joints, they're going for the strangle, cutting off the air from the windpipe, so the choke, cutting off the air from the windpipe, the strangle, cutting off the blood supply to the brain and the oxygen to the brain through the carotid artery. They're flowing from one technique to the next technique.
But we're not seeing a lot of ground and pound, we're not seeing a lot of strikes, we're not seeing a lot of connections, so these men are still very, very strong, because they're just trying to put techniques on.
That's right, it's a very nice display of mixed martial arts. They're flowing from one technique to another. There's so much, it's a high-speed game of chess down there.
And it is nice to see the clean work, because so often, because of the effort that's involved, a lot of groundwork can look scrappy and very exciting in front of a Dutch audience. Yvel hails from the Netherlands.
Oh, a blistering start. A blistering start from Yvel. Showing his Muay Thai background.
But Kongo's toes now.
Kongo's responding nicely though. Kick after kick.
Well, that was a nice right hand.
Yes, Yvel almost looked in disarray at the kick coming in, like this is no power. And at the same time, it was a setup. Kongo just dropped straight in with the hands. Slow takedown against the ropes.
Well, a bit of softening up in the early part of this round now. And you mustn't forget, of course, that the effort, continuous 5-minute rounds we're looking at here. In that time, you are constantly using energy, strength and skill to overpower your opponent. Very taxing. Now, interesting lock here. The arm being bent back by Kongo.
It's almost like a reverse key lock there.
Incredible flexibility from Yvel.
For a big guy, very muscly, and yet the flexibility he's got. Kongo just couldn't hold the straight arm out. The arm bar was there, but he just couldn't quite hold it on. And that's what I like about these rules. They only have so long on the ground, then they're up on their feet.
And they start again. That's what makes it fresh. That's what I like as well, because too long on the ground and then it becomes a little bit disparate, becomes a little bit messy, and from an audience appreciation perspective, it's good that the action is kept fluid.
Yes, Yvel into the side mount, steps over into the full mount, steps up. Kongo sits up to prevent the ground and pound. Yvel lost the full mount, drops into the side mount. Self-explanatory, he's from the side, hooks the head around. He's going for the leg applied strangle.
Oh, and the armbar. Well, this could be the beginning of the end. But amazingly,
Yvel going for two techniques at once. He had the Sangaku Jimmy nearly on, the leg applied strangle. At the same time, he was going for the armbar. Now he's in the guillotine. He flows from one technique to another. Kongo doing so well to survive right now.
Incredible escape by Kongo. Just eased his way out of that, turned the head to the side, slipped the pressure off from the choke position. Fantastic.
He's not out of the mire yet.
Yvel, a master at distributing and spreading his weight whenever there's a takedown in the offing from Kongo. Well, he didn't manage to do it then.
No, unfortunately, but he rode it nicely to the ground. He's kept the same position, he's kept Kongo in control. But having to get up off the floor each time, that tires you out.
Both men look exhausted, no one's rushing to actually stand up.
In fact, Kongo looks in a little bit of trouble there. I'm wondering if he hit his head on the takedown.
Front kick, perfect. Well, Kongo all over the place now. High roundhouse from Gilbert Yvel, but he ends up on the deck. Kongo trying to take advantage, but looks exhausted.
Yes, I think this could be the start of the end now. Yvel and his experience starting to show through, superior fitness, and with Kongo, whose gum shield is out, with his fitness starting to fade, I think we're going to see Yvel take a victory. Kongo's dead on his feet at the moment.
Well, very dangerous for Kongo to be walking around without a guard. There seems to be no defence up top, does there? I mean, he's sauntering around the ring, hands limp round his side. Gilbert Yvel seems to have gone from strength to strength.
I like the little control techniques that Gilbert Yvel is doing. He just loops his legs around, a little weight shift here, a little weight adjustment there, and it's just keeping Kongo out of trouble. Although Kongo is now going for the key lock, the figure 4 arm lock, he just straightens his hand quite nicely. Kongo hasn't got a hope of getting that technique on.
Oh, well, a good bit of ground and pound now.
I think that's it. The concussion from earlier, from the takedown, I believe, has been added to from the tiredness. The short little